Alright, hey guys, today I will be showing you how I use my MC6Pro in conjunction with the ML10X to control everything on my board. So personally, I don't do presets by song because most of the sets that I play are more flow than they are scripted. So I need to be able to pull up the sounds that I need depending on where things go in a set. Some key principles that I have when I program my MC6 is to maximize what I can do without having to toggle between banks. One other rule that I have for myself is it shouldn't take more than 3 steps to get to a sound that I want, and my most used sounds must be the easiest to access. So in order to maximize the number of things I can do with one button on the Morningstar, because there's only 6 of them, is I refer to the action type list from Morningstar. So I'll just put that on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. So when I looked at it, I realized that the release action, the long press, and the double tap don't overlap. So this means that I can actually use these 3 triggers to access 3 different functions on each switch. So I'm just going to go layer by layer. First, I'm going to talk about the release. So just basically pressing the switch. So most of my release functions access like my sound banks. So here's my microcosm sound bank, my LVX sound bank, and my Mercury X sound bank. Each press brings it back to the main screen over here. And of course I have my drives control over here, which controls the ML10X and basically helps me jump between the different combinations of gain that I use. So this is the constant. So I can go to a stack. Of course back to clean. So that's the release function. So most of the time it's just a single press that gets you there. One other thing that I have is tempo. So if you look at tempo 3 and the tab here on the B and C switches. So tempo over here basically scrolls through a set of preset tempos that I have based on the set. So this allows me to kind of follow without having to tap dance too much during a set. But the tap tempo over here will override whatever tempo goes in. So it still gives me flexibility in case we deviate from the planned tempo. So you have some kind of presets, but still the flexibility to go wherever the worship leader is leading. Next layer would be the double tap function. So in the double tap functions, I mainly use as controls for some functions on the pedal board. So for example, when I double tap the LVX switch over here, it changes my expression pedal to control the mix of the LVX. If I double tap on the Mercury X, it switches it to the Mercury X. Another one that I have over here is if I double tap the microcosm side, it brings me to this control menu where I can scroll up and down in my different presets in my LVX and Mercury X, and it also has this additional button there that basically bypasses everything so that it goes just from guitar straight to my Tone-X pedals, just so I can check the amps if I need to do that. So that's double tap. My favorite of all 3 is actually the long press function. So what I have mapped to basically the drives, microcosm, LVX, and Mercury X is if I long press, it changes different combinations of my wet effects to get to 4 of my favorite sounds. So if I long press the microcosm over here, you have a short plate reverb with a 1/8 delay. So really nice for your simple picking stuff. So if I long press on the LVX, this one brings up my Riz Haze and Dotted 8. So this is the one that you hear in most of my videos. Mercury X, long press, this brings up my Riz Bloom and slow pattern. So this is a bit of a bigger one. lot more mix, a lot more decay, slightly more complex delays. So I use this really for my lead lines. Another one is if I long press the drives, this is my fast picking kind of. Switch back to my staples if I need. So yeah, that's how I use the 3 different layers, the release function, the long press, and the double tap, to access really quickly many different functions on just one bank on my MC6. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to drop me a DM or a comment. Happy to answer any questions you have. Right, see ya.